What's up, guys? It's 2020. I'm shameless plugging a Sabre property right here, and we're going to talk about the retail apocalypse and companies that have died in this past decade.
People calling me up saying they need a feature, saying we can help each other, but I see the leeches. Get the credit where it's due, I ain't talking Visa, but since we talking Visa, don't say you won't pay me either. Did you catch that?
All right, everybody, so today I happen to be in my hometown of Huntington, Long Island, and we are on the Route 110 corridor, standing in front of the Huntington Shopping Center owned by Federal Realty. So I have the benefit of actually knowing this shopping center long before the 20 years that I've been in commercial real estate, and actually it's changed. I'm shocked when I'm standing here and thinking about how much it's changed. It's changed so many different times, which is normal for retail shopping centers, right? So there's always an evolution, there's a cycle, the ups and downs, which is totally normal. The difference today is that we're dealing with the impact of the internet, right? So that is definitely having an impact on retailers, more so than the typical ups and downs of a good economy, bad economy, technology, all of that stuff that always comes into consideration. So we're gonna basically drive this area today. We happen to have a lot of Sabre signs here, so I'm gonna brag a little bit. When you put in the hard work and it pays off, you know what? You need to bask it in a little bit. But we're gonna start off, like I said, here at this property. And I just wanna point out for a second, I'm standing right in front of a closed Bed Bath & Beyond. Bed Bath & Beyond announced today that they just freed up over $250 million of cash by selling commercial assets. They sold over 2 million square feet, and that's going to help them revive their core business. It's also going to help them keep up with the changes that are going on in the world today. When you used to walk into a Bed Bath & Beyond, it's basically everything that I know my wife buys online now. So I hope that it's gonna help them more so than just a temporary Band-Aid. Time will tell. Some other major changes in this shopping center over time are, if you can see this Nordstrom rack here in the distance, that used to be a Toys R Us. Toys R Us is one of the major retailers that had such an impact on all of our lives as children and my children's lives, and went away in the past few years. They're restructuring, they are opening up a few smaller retail locations, they have an online presence, but they missed the boat and got totally crushed by the internet. If you look over at the PetSmart, that used to be an old school sporting goods company called Herman Sporting Goods when I was a kid. Not relevant in this decade, but I figured I'd point it out. In this corner here, the Bye Bye Baby used to be a company called Service Merchandise, which was way ahead of their time with catalog shopping and providing the customer with their goods and services straight from a warehouse within the store. You could research that stuff for you younger people. The older people watching know exactly what I'm talking about. I happened to put this Five Guys Burgers in this shopping center a long time ago, back when Five Guys was new and exciting. No disrespect to Five Guys. All the way in the distance here, we have an Ulta Cosmetics. Ulta is absolutely crushing it, along with Sephora and the other cosmetics companies. What do you guys think that Ulta Cosmetics was before it became an Ulta? Barnes & Noble, another company going out of business. Barnes acquired Borders years ago, that company went away, and there are still a few Barnes & Noble locations open, operating. The Kindle kind of helped them, differentiated them from a lot of the other book companies, so they added some technology, but they're gone from this shopping center, so it's pretty telling. Rumors are that there is a very exciting anchor tenant coming into this shopping center. I have my finger on the pulse of the market. However, it's not public knowledge, so I can't share it with you. So another major retailer that went out of business this past decade is Sports Authority. I mention that because Modell's is in this shopping center, a more regional chain out of New York. This space is technically available because Modell's is restructuring their portfolio as well. That means there's trouble in paradise with that company. You know what? Let's go take a walk into Dress Barn and see what their racks look like. I'm kidding, they're closed. So as I'm telling you, this shopping center is a good kind of example. It's just a random sample of what's going on in the retail world today. It's changing, it's evolving, it's not dying. We just relocated in the market a couple of 100 yards from the Huntington Shopping Center at the intersection of Jericho Turnpike and Route 110, where we have 7,200 square feet available of former Fidelity Investments. They did not go out of business, they reload. This morning in my inbox, I just got a closure list of the entire US for the company behind me, Pier 1 Imports. They're in trouble as well, and they will be closing many of their locations. All right, so now we're standing directly across from the Walt Whitman Mall, also on Route 110, where we have space available. And I'm just highlighting that GameStop in this shopping center is another retailer that's definitely in trouble. The internet, most people are obviously buying their gaming stuff directly off the internet now. Somehow my kids still love to come to GameStop, so who knows when they'll actually start closing. So we're standing in front of another Sabre property that we represent. It's a closed diner at the traffic signal and the entrance to the Walt Whitman Mall. You could see behind me on the other side here, there's a closed Destination Maternity. Destination Maternity owns Motherhood Maternity, which also filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy this past decade and is closing, I think, about 180 stores. All right, guys, so what did we learn on today's episode? We learned a few things. One, retail is evolving tremendously. When people talk about the retail apocalypse, is it true? Is it not? I'd say it's somewhere in the middle. Retailers that are not differentiating themselves and providing unique service, products, and differentiation in the marketplace are in a lot of trouble. I also think that there's going to be a lot fewer retailers based on the fact that most people are buying things online today. We also learned that Sabre dominates the Route 110 Walt Whitman Mall corridor. If you need space in this marketplace, or if you have a tenant that needs space, we can accommodate you. Reach out today. And last, we learned that Sabre is an innovative retail company that's thriving in this new world. We're hiring, so send us your resume.